You guys, Blake Lively's $400 million lawsuit drama just took the most intense turn. Not only do we have all the shocking details from Justin Baldoni's 179-page lawsuit, but Blake just responded by comparing herself to Amber Heard. And trust me, after reading through every single page of these documents, this might be the biggest celebrity lawsuit scandal we've seen since Johnny Depp. The evidence, Justin, before we dive into all the crazy details, let me break down exactly what we're covering today. The explosive 179-page lawsuit that exposes everything that happened behind the scenes. Blake's shocking response where she's literally using Amber Heard's playbook. Never before seen text messages between Justin Blake and even Taylor Swift. How Ryan Reynolds secretly rewrote parts of the movie without permission. The real reason Blake got banned from her own movie premiere. And proof that completely contradicts everything Blake has been saying. Plus, I have exclusive details about what really went down during filming that nobody else is talking about. Trust me, this story gets crazier by the minute. Let me catch you up real quick on what's happening. Justin Baldoni, his film studio Wayfarer, and their entire PR team just filed this massive lawsuit against Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist Liz Sloan in New York federal court. We're talking about multiple claims here: extortion, defamation, breach of contract, and that's just scratching the surface. But guys, Blake's response to this lawsuit is what's really getting everyone talking. Her legal team just released this statement saying the lawsuit is another chapter in the abuser playbook. They're literally trying to use the Darvo defense. That's deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. If this sounds familiar, it's because this is exactly what Amber Heard tried to do during her trial with Johnny Depp. Blake's team is claiming that this is an age-old story of a woman speaking up with concrete evidence of sexual harassment and retaliation, and the abuser attempts to turn the tables on the victim. But here's what's interesting in the original complaints. Blake never used the word abuser. She talked about harassments, but now suddenly she's escalating the language in a way that's really similar to what we saw in the Amber Heard case. The lawsuit itself is absolutely explosive. Justin's team has included every single text message, email, and even video footage to back up their claims. They're saying Blake wrongfully accused Justin and Wayfarer Studios of misconduct just to protect her own image after that huge controversy in, I guess, 2024, when everyone called her out for how she was promoting the movie. The lawsuit breaks down exactly how this whole mess started, and it's wild. Justin and Wayfarer spent years developing this project. They got the rights to It Ends With Us, worked closely with Colleen Hoover, and finally cast Blake in late 2022. Here's where things get interesting. They gave her an executive producer credit, even though she wanted to be a full producer. Sony and Wayfarer said no because it wouldn't reflect her actual role in production. But apparently, that wasn't enough for Blake. According to the documents, everything started great. There are text messages showing positive interactions between Blake and Justin. But things took a dramatic turn when Blake started trying to take over every single aspect of production. The lawsuit includes emails from producers literally panicking about how Blake was trying to co-direct them. Remember those set photos that leaked and everyone was saying the outfits looked horrible? Well, there's a whole section in the lawsuit about this. When Sony wasn't happy with the wardrobe situation, Justin tried to have a professional conversation with Blake in her trailer. But Blake completely twisted this interaction in her complaint. She claimed Justin had this lengthy outburst that delayed filming for hours while he cried in her dressing room. But the lawsuit has actual footage proving this never happened. The most shocking part? Blake never even read the book. The lawsuit specifically points this out because it shows how Blake was more interested in control than staying true to Colleen Hoover's story. There are text messages where production team members are literally begging her to read the source. Now let's talk about what the lawsuit calls Blake's dragons, because this is where things get really interesting. Blake apparently sent Justin this long text message about how directors never let her write scenes or give her credit. She even bragged about secretly writing for Ryan's movies. Then she demanded to rewrite the rooftop scene. You know, that iconic moment where the main characters first meet that fans of the book were so excited about. The lawsuit includes this wild story about how Blake invited Justin to her New York penthouse. When he arrived, Ryan Reynolds was there and immediately started praising Blake's version of the scene. Then, completely out of nowhere, Taylor Swift shows up and starts doing the same thing. The lawsuit calls them Blake's dragons, comparing her to Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. There's this incredible text exchange where Justin tries to smooth things over, saying he didn't need Ryan and Taylor to pressure him. Blake's response is absolutely wild. She writes, "I am the luckiest on the planet to have them as my dance moms level stage moms. They are embarrassingly effusive. They're also my most trusted partners and the people I go to first with anything creative." But then she gets really intense, writing, "I guess I have to stop worrying about people liking me. Like Khaleesi, I happen to have a few dragons for better or worse." The lawsuit claims this was all part of a calculated manipulation strategy. They say Blake would use these powerful connections Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds to intimidate people into giving her what she wanted. And it worked. Justin felt so pressured that he had to incorporate Blake's changes, even though they weren't what he or Colleen Hoover. Let's dive into these serious allegations, because this is where Blake's story starts falling apart. In her complaint, Blake claimed she was mostly nude during the birth scene filming with just a small piece of fabric covering her. But the lawsuit completely destroys this claim. They have actual footage showing Blake wearing black briefs, a full pregnancy suit, and a hospital gown. They're saying Blake knowingly lied about being exposed to make Justin look bad. The intimacy coordinator situation is particularly interesting. The lawsuit reveals that Justin specifically hired a female intimacy coordinator to ensure everything was handled with a focus on the female gaze. But here's the twist: Blake refused to meet with her during pre-production. Instead, she insisted on handling all discussions about intimate scenes directly with Justin, but always with Ryan Reynolds present. The lawsuit suggests this was another way for Blake to create situations she could later twist against Justin. There's this whole section about the fat-shaming allegations that's really telling. The lawsuit includes dozens of text messages showing Justin being incredibly supportive about Blake's postpartum body concerns. When she asked about moving body scenes to the end of scheduling, Justin wrote this really thoughtful message. "I want you to know you will look amazing. Anything you are insecure about, we will talk through and get creative together and make you comfortable." He even offered to completely restructure the filming schedule to make her more comfortable. But apparently, Blake still accused him of fat shaming when he asked their shared trainer about her weight, something he needed to know for a scene where he had to lift her. The lawsuit includes statements from the trainer confirming this was a standard safety protocol question. They're saying this shows how Blake would take completely innocent professional situations and twist them to paint Justin as the villain. After the strikes ended, things got even more intense. Blake's team hit Wayfair with this crazy list of demands to continue filming. The lawsuit includes the full document, and it's wild. Both Wayfair and Sony tried to revise it because it was full of false claims, but Blake's team wouldn't budge. They basically said, the lawsuit reveals that Sony got caught in the middle of all this. There are emails showing Sony executives panicking about how to handle the situation. They knew Blake's version of events wasn't accurate, but they were scared of the power she wielded with her dragons. The lawsuit includes internal communications where Sony executives admit they're choosing Blake's side, not because she's right, but because they're afraid of the PR. Blake even managed to replace the film's original editors with her own editors that she knew through Ryan Reynolds. This is where it gets really interesting. Justin's cut of the film actually tested better with audiences. But Blake threatened that Colleen Hoover wouldn't promote the film unless they used her version. The lawsuit includes text messages where Blake basically admits to manipulating Colleen Hoover into taking her side. The whole thing culminated in this absolutely insane premiere situation. The lawsuit includes actual security footage showing Justin and his family being escorted to the basement of the theater. They had to watch the movie separately from everyone else and weren't allowed to interact with any of the main events. There are text messages from the event coordinators literally creating maps to ensure Blake and Justin's paths never cross. But here's where Blake's story really starts to crumble. The lawsuit includes statements from multiple crew members who were present at the premiere, all confirming that this separation wasn't because Justin did anything wrong. It was because Blake demanded it. They even have emails where Blake's team specifically requested that Justin and his family be kept away from the main premiere events. The aftermath of all this has been devastating for Justin's career. The lawsuit details how Blake's false allegations have cost him other directing opportunities, damaged his reputation in Hollywood, and even affected his acting career. They've included statements from industry professionals who've distanced themselves from Justin based on Blake's claims. Only to later, this lawsuit is seriously just getting started, and the implications are huge. We're seeing major industry figures starting to speak out. Directors are worried about working with powerful actors who might try to take over their films. Other actors are concerned about false allegations being used as weapons in creative disputes. The fact that Blake's response mirrors Amber Heard's strategy is really telling. She's trying to paint herself as a victim, but the evidence in this lawsuit tells a completely different story. The question now is, will her dragons Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds get involved? And if they do, whose side will the public take? I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Are you Team Blake or Team Justin? Do you think comparing herself to Amber Heard was a smart move? And what do you think about using Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds as intimidation tactics? Let me know in the comments below. I'll talk to you in the next video.